are listening up. The cold hard truth about rolling solo that you may not have known, and I'm here to tell you it straight up. Listen, in certain circumstances that you may have to deal with in your life, and you may be in a season right now where you don't have a support system. So that could be, you know, your primary reason to rolling solo and just being alone, isolated, because there's really no one that's really there for you. Like, if you can't really think of anybody in your life right now that's actually there for you, that actually cares about your well-being, then you might as well just roll solo, man, because it's very tough out here. This is a very lonely generation that we are in right now, and I think it's very important that I talk about this on this channel because it's very alarming. You know, we're not humans like we were back in the day. We're not the same. We're clearly more distracted than ever when it comes to technology, when it comes down to what we value in life. We value a lot of external things, and we're very vain as people today, you know. And I'm not saying for a lot of people, but for a good majority of people, they find themselves, you know, getting the short end of the stick when it comes to, you know, their social life. And I'm not saying that it's not very, I'm not saying it's hard to socialize. Like, if you're just a very antisocial person and you hate people in general, then, you know, that's how you want to, you know, go about your life and not talk to anybody, then that's you. Me personally, I'm able to hold a conversation, I'm able to communicate, but I have a tolerance, you know, I have a certain level of tolerance when it comes to foolishness and just very negative energy. You know, I can't tolerate negative energy. I can't tolerate toxicity. I can't tolerate drama. I don't do that. That's not my cup of tea, right? I'm very picky when it comes to who I want to hang out with and who I want to associate myself with and who I allow into my life. I'm very picky, and that could be one of the reasons why I roll solo, right? And, you know, when you get older and you mature, you start to have standards of what certain people should be in your life and who should not be in your life. Like, when you're younger, you know, we tolerate a lot of stuff. We tolerate a lot of different people, right? And once we get older, that kind of stops, right? We start to be very clear and definite to who we want to allow into our lives, allow into our personal space, you know? But here's the thing, man. When you roll solo, you're not gonna have a lot of support. Straight up. You're not gonna have a lot of people that gravitate to you. You know what I'm saying? And positive reinforcement is very hard to come by. You may be in a stage in your life right now where you're just not getting that positive reinforcement from other people, from even like from your family members, right? And the people that you think are your friends, right? You're not getting it from them. Or you may have a woman in your life or a girlfriend, and she's not empowering you, and she's not pouring into you at all. You know, she's just there existing, you know, not really sparking up your life. You know what I'm saying? And as men, we need to learn how to build ourselves up. We need to learn how to empower ourselves. And I know it's hard to do that when there's not many people around you to do that for you. And it's easy when you had it as a kid and you had people rooting for you and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, life for you just became a little bit more easier to navigate when you have the right support system and you have the right people in your life. You know, for me personally, it was the complete opposite. You know, I did not have the right people backing me up. You know, I was always around a lot of, you know, negative influence, bad influence, just bad role models. You know, the men in my life, they were not role models. They were not exactly what you call masculine men. They were controlled by their vices, you know, always getting in trouble with the law, and just not really making much of themselves. You know, not just having their priorities, you know, backwards for the most part. And addiction runs heavy in my family. And that's why when it comes down to my corn addiction, you know, I talked about that. I talked about that on this channel before. Something that I've struggled with for many years was corn addiction. You know, primarily that. You know, perversion, you know, perverted thoughts. You know, I even had a cigarette addiction at one point in my life. And that was because, you know, some members of my family, they were into smoking cigarettes. You know, smoking that disgusting nicotine. I don't know what made me even think about doing that. I think it was just a phase that I was in. I wanted to be cool, for, you know, and just be relatable to other people, you know, because, you know, this was a time where I felt very lonely and I let it get to me, you know. Obviously, I don't let it get to me now compared to back then, but I figure the best way for me to, like, fit in with other people is to start smoking. And what better way, right, to fit in than start smoking? Because everybody else smokes, right? I see a lot of people within my hometown, they smoke. So why not I just do the same thing, just to fit in? And I know what you're thinking. It sounds very stupid for me to even do that, right? Doesn't make any sense. But I was willing to, you know, smoke, adopt that habit in order to fit in. And it was very stupid. And I'm glad I quit. I wound up quitting, you know, after 2 years. So it was something that I wasn't heavily addicted to. I was able to just kind of give it up, no problem, right? So, you know, when it comes to just navigating life by yourself, you know, don't be surprised when you find yourself not having a support system. Like, there are people in your life that may not be capable of showing you support. And those people really shouldn't be in your life to begin with if they're not giving you no type of support, right? What's this stuff up here, man? What they got going on up there? You know, the hardest thing is to navigate your life without, you know, people really backing you up and people, you know, having your best interests. You know, people checking up on you every now and then, almost every day, having a solid support system. You know, it's not easy during these days to come by, you know, and for me, I'm finding that out the hard way, that it's not easy for me to come by that, you know, and that can really push somebody to want to say, F it, I'm just going to roll solo. You know, I'm going to support myself, do the best to support myself, pour into me, empower me, and push myself every day to be better. If no one else is going to do that for me, if no one else is going to be that positive reinforcement, then I'll be that for myself. You know what I'm saying? I'll just push through. I don't need nobody. And that's, you know, it's unfortunate that someone like me, I've had to come to that. conclusion. And for you watching this, you probably came to that conclusion as well. It's not that you don't socialize well with people. It's just you don't really connect with a lot of people that well. You may be a decent socializer, but for some reason you just don't connect to a lot of people. A lot of people just don't gravitate to you, right? And yes, it sounds terrible, because as humans we're all supposed to naturally gravitate to each other and come together and build community. But that's just not what it is these days. That's not the energy that's being put forth these days. It's very divided. A lot of people are out for themselves and just overall very selfish, and they have no regard for other people, and that's how a lot of people operate. And you probably went through that in your life where you saw people that were close to you that were all about themselves, man. That all they thought was about their personal interest and their own intentions. They had intentions of, for self. They only decided to be your friend was because they wanted something out of you. They knew you had something that they could benefit from. So that's why they gravitated to you the way they did. Not because of you, but for what you can give them. See, people only hang out with you and talk to you because you have something that they want most of the time. It's not about who you are as a person, it's what you have to give. And people are just, their intentions are set on what they want, not to what they can add to somebody else's life or value, right? But that's just how people can be nowadays. Like, it's all about what they want, and that's it. It's not about building together. It's not about friendship. It's not about, it's not about building, man. It's not about community anymore, it seems like. And that's just the, that's the unfortunate reality, So that kind of drives you, pushes you to rolling solo for a reason.